Yeah. All right. So lots to get into today. Got a lot of things to go over here. Well, we are going to get into some things, into what's going on. Thank you, Heather. Appreciate it. Oh, okay. So lots to go over. Those of you that have been following this channel, we have been talking about the Sebastian Rogers case. Those of you that are new, welcome in. Thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate you stopping by. If you like this content and what we produce here, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button for me. And make sure you click that notification bell so you're notified of any future videos that we do. Yep. You're so welcome. I'm 59 and I raised 3 amazing sons with many memories, so I'll never forget. That's awesome. All right, so where do I want to even start with all this stuff? Let's go ahead. Okay, I want to pull up this. Actually, I want to pull this up real quick. Hold on. Let me just 1 second. I got it all pulled up here at the top. It's just not in order. I should have put it in order. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about this first. And then I'm going to eventually get into Katie. And the stuff that is going on with her character as a person and things like that. So please make sure you guys stay tuned. Awesome. Nothing more beautiful than family life still awaiting you and your hubby's podcast or show together. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I know. I keep telling him we got to get on it. Okay, so I did want to pull this up. So on March 15th, which is this one right here, Chris states that he has passed a polygraph. He has taken one and passed one. That was March 15th. On March 25th, Chris tells Nancy that he never took a polygraph. He was actually told he didn't need to take one. On April 16th, somebody named Burton Staggs claimed that Chris had taken and passed a polygraph. On May 23rd, Chris refers to his polygraph as an open book cheat test. So this was March 15th again, of 2024. Have you both taken polygraph tests? And if so, what were the results? Thank you. Yes, and the results are passed.
Have the two of you taken a polygraph?
And now this was 10 days after he had stated that they'd both taken one and passed.
I have.
I have not.
Would you be willing to?
Now, before we even move on, Chris clearly stated in that message, yes, they said, have you both taken polygraphs? And if so, what were the results? Where he stated yes, and the results were passed. Now, 10 days later, he's on the Nancy Grace saying that he never took one. So are we all in agreement that is clearly one lie right there that cannot be argued, that cannot be said it's wrong, that cannot be said it's made up? That is one lie for a fact that Chris had told. Are we all in agreement on that?
I've offered and volunteered on many occasions to take a polygraph, and I was told directly by law enforcement because of my whereabouts, I did not need one.
I understand.
Now, this was where the source, that guy sitting in his truck in the hat, had said that Chris took one. This was on April 16th, Burton Staggs. A source with knowledge tells me that Chris Proudfoot passed his polygraph today with the TBI.
But all the questions, you get them read to you.
Now here's Chris talking about the polygraph.
But all the questions, you get them read to you. And if there's a question you do not like, you don't like the way it's worded, cool. You sit down and you can change it. It is an open book cheat test. I kid you not.
If that does not tell you right there that something is very wrong here, if that does not raise alarms or red flags or questions with you, not only about Christopher himself, but about the agency in which gave this test to him.
It's that easy.
Oh, Jesus, God, Jesus shouldn't have said that.
It's that easy, huh? At least I'm getting anywhere from 8 to 16. Oh, okay. You're talking about chickens. CP has diabetes. That is funny. Hello, Wendy. That is funny right there. Wendy, Denise, Lisa, Melwicki, Rocky, Lisa. I said Lisa. Mama, Nicole, Angie, Heather, Kelly. Kimberly, hello. Welcome in, everybody. All right. So that was just one example of Chris Proudfoot telling lies. I mean, that are we all, you can't disagree with that. That's right from the horse's mouth. Now, let me pull up. Where is it? Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about this. Let's talk about this real quick. Let me share this. Let's talk about this leaked call. Now, this was on Lab After Dark 4 days ago.
Buddy,
I got to go back here.
I came with you to be part of something.
You played in the arcade.
Law enforcement or
I know. Just so you know, she is typing.
Oh, Chris was in Memphis.
She is typing as she's like set, and it's so close. It's so annoying, but there's nothing I can do about that. So.
union time.
I was about to pull it up.
All
Hold
right.
on.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So that he went down for a week.
Not a week, but
What the heck?
Two
it was a
days?
couple hard days. Yeah.
It was a hard couple of days, really?
Okay.
We went home.
Sorry, guys. Hold on. Okay.
All right. Here we go. $14 minutes. Great. It's not playing. God dang it.
Now, this was the call between Chris, Katie. Well, Katie's in the background. Chris and the Seth's old PI.
where he's at and what he knows.
All right, here we go. Hold on.
No.
About to be right.
Right, I'm not
I
asking you to tell me what's right. I'm asking you to tell me what you actually know.
about
Your
the
client should have
situation.
set you down and should have told you from start to finish where he's at and what he knows.
Isn't it interesting though that Chris's first thing is to be like, well, I want to know what you know. I want to know what you know so I can fill in the blanks. Like that. That is what people would do, right? Like people that had information about something and you know what I'm saying? They want to control the narrative. So they're like, wait a minute. Well, tell me what you know. Because I want to know what the opposing side knows. I want to know what Seth knows. I want to know what you guys on, you know what I mean? Know. Interesting.
Knows, right?
Where he's at and what he knows.
No. He should have set you down and told you every single thing from day one to where we are at now.
Well, I mean, I've gotten most of my information from, yeah. I know that I know about y'all going to BJ's. I know about y'all going to Strike and Spare, and I know y'all picked up Melissa's daughter.
And say, well, hold on. See, this is where your information's wrong.
Okay.
That's what he says.
Okay. First, let me correct you.
I thought
So that's Katie in the background. I did not pick up Melissa's daughter. They want you. I want everyone to be very clear that it was not Melissa's daughter.
I thought that was on an interview. Didn't y'all say?
No, hold on.
Hold on.
Let's change. I need you to change your words.
Well,
I need you to change your words.
I mean, that's why we're talking, so we can clear things, like figure
Right.
things out.
Once again, y'all didn't do shit.
Oh, Chris was in Memphis, right?
Right. Here he wants to make it clear y'all didn't do shit because I wasn't there. It had nothing to do with me. He's removing himself from the situation. You know what I'm saying? First of all, don't say y'all because y'all didn't do shit. I had no part of this, is what he's saying. But yeah, he's going to sit on panels or on interviews and he's going to go, well, no, because if Sebastian would have went out of his window with no shoes on, oh, we'd have heard him. And when anybody wants to ask questions about the night of the 25th, Chris is the first person to sit there and speak up and tell you exactly what went down, even though his ass wasn't there, right?
Right. Okay. So sorry.
Don't say y'all. Thank you.
Okay, my bad.
I need you to change your words.
Katie and Sebastian went to BJ's.
Right.
Prior to going to BJ's?
After picking up our niece.
I said prior to going to BJ's.
Which was not Melissa's.
They went and picked up a niece. That name is not going to be disclosed because it has no business. And I promise you.
Isn't it, Katie? You could hear Katie go, she has been through enough with this ordeal. She has been through enough.
You don't want to go to that house.
That child is going through enough with this mess. But no, it was not Melissa.
That child is going through enough with this mess. Talking about the niece that she had picked up.
Melissa's daughter that I picked up.
Okay.
What you do need to know is, all you need to know is that two sisters.
But she did just say Melissa was at BJ's.
Sebastian and children went to BJ's. That is on a video footage.
Yeah.
I've seen that. Law enforcement can confirm that.
Right.
She needs to be picked up.
Names
I don't know who
don't
it
need
is.
to be extracted, don't need to be out.
Yeah, I mean, minors' names don't need to be thrown out anyway.
Exactly.
No,
My sister doesn't need any more harassment either.
Yeah. CP says he wasn't there, but he sure did write the script, just like he wrote the parenting plan. Yep. I agree.
Yeah, I haven't said anything.
Justice coming soon. Well, wait a minute. Oh, Justice Mama, welcome in.
Thing about Melissa at all.
No,
I haven't even mentioned
but
her.
I'm saying
Well, Melissa,
his other sister.
once again, my two sisters, Melissa and Cassie, were there.
He's like, I need you to change your words.
That's on video footage.
Yeah.
That has all been vetted. That has been proven. Proof of life, all that bullshit, everything.
Right.
He'll sit there and say, well, oh, no, my sisters don't need to be dragged into this. This doesn't matter. Listen, anybody who was around Sebastian on the freaking 25th, it is relevant information. It is relevant. How these people say it's not. Like, it's the last day the kid was ever seen. But it's supposed to not be relevant. It's supposed to not matter. We're supposed to just take Katie and Chris's word for everything, even though Chris wasn't there.
Thank you from word beginning to this been told.
Yeah.
Wasn't there at all.
Now, they go to BJ's. They leave BJ's.
Proof of life and all that bullshit. What?
Yes, it actually is possible to eat healthy and still have a life.
Factor has made the biggest difference in how I eat and how I stay on track.
Sebastian and I leave BJ's. Your sisters went their own way. I don't know why.
So let me get this straight. So she goes and picks up a niece, right? She goes and picks up a niece. And then this niece and Sebastian, he's only got two sisters, right? Both sisters are at BJ's. Both sisters. So why is she going to go pick up a kid, take that kid to BJ's just to meet up with her mama? You know what I'm saying? Like, that just doesn't make any sense.
Thank you, Canadian. Good to see you.
I did not insinuate a name.
Sebastian and I leave BJ's. Your sisters went their own way. I don't know
I
why.
know.
Thank you, Canadian.
left
Good to
BJ's.
see you.
I did not insinuate a name. I didn't say who.
Just clear, and it was just me and Bubba that left together.
So you and Sebastian leave BJ.
Okay, so she picks up this niece. They go to BJ's, where Chris's two sisters are both at. Still, I'm still not understanding why the niece pick up when you just met her and the other kids there. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make any sense. But anyway, so you're all at BJ's, where Katie picks up the snacks for Sebastian. And then her and Sebastian leave BJ's, just those two, not with anybody else.
James.
Okay, so can because I don't have actual times. Can I get a timeline on that?
Wait,
I don't remember the exact.
I'll give you an on or about time. I can't give you an exact time.
what? First of all, she just said, oh, God, can I get a timeline on that? She says, I can't give you an I don't know the time. Chris, who wasn't even there, says, well, wait a minute. I can give you a time. I can give you a roundabout time. See what I'm saying?
So
I used my Life 360 to give exact timestamps to the law enforcement.
It was before noon.
gotcha. Okay. Before noon at BJ's.
Yes.
Okay.
Law enforcement has the literal.
Now remember that. Before noon at BJ's. Okay? Because that's going to come into play in just a few minutes here.
BJ's.
Yes. That time.
So
I used my Life 360 to give exact timestamps to the law enforcement.
It was before noon.
gotcha. Okay. Before noon at BJ's.
And I don't know how many of y'all have Life 360, but we have it. And it is like, sometimes I'll be sitting here, right? And I'll get a message from my husband's phone that says he just arrived home. And I'm like, he been here all day. He hasn't gone anywhere. But I'll get a thing, like, it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's not the most accurate thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Law enforcement has the literal, like, to the second.
We have been told we are not to give out exact times.
Which we now know was a load of crap. Ellie never told them not to release what times they were where. But here is Chris running interference going, no, Ellie said we can't give out exact times. That's That's bull.
And
Gotcha.
that came directly from law enforcement. We're not breaking that.
But
There's again, here's Chris in another lie. He said himself, law enforcement said I can't release that information. I can't release that. That comes from law enforcement. Law enforcement then released a statement saying we never told them they couldn't say, you know what I mean? We never told them they had to withhold information. We never told them not to release anything. We never told them not to say anything. So there's another lie. I mean, it's proven that he's a liar. I don't know why I don't know why that's a question at this point. He is a freaking liar.
like I said, they literally used my 360 and like
They got the
knew
timestamps.
that route I took.
Yes.
They knew how fast I went.
Yep.
They knew if I did any stops, which I didn't. They know. Like,
Now, they knew it. They knew if I made any stops, which I didn't. Yeah. Need I say more?
like they literally know every detail because we have upgraded 360. So they literally,
What up,
and I
hindsight?
have a thing in my car with a camera.
Yeah, the dash cam.
It's not a dash cam.
Oh,
See, that's
okay.
where
Okay, everybody be clear. It is not a dash cam. They must have something else in their vehicle, but it's not a dash cam and it's not OnStar. So
everybody's wrong.
Okay.
And I'm not going to tell people what.
Literally,
What up,
and I
hindsight?
have a thing in my car with a camera.
Yeah, the dash cam.
It's not a dash cam. See,
Oh,
that's
okay.
where everybody's wrong.
Okay.
And I'm not going to tell people what it is, but all they need.
Why does he get so mad about that? Not a dash cam. See, that's where you're wrong. You talk to me sort of kind of this way.
In this vehicle, there was something that recorded a video and audio.
But law enforcement.
there was something that recorded video and audio, not a dash cam. OnStar doesn't do that from what I saw. And I'm not going to tell anybody what it is.
I had multiple sources to confirm every move I made that day.
Okay.
Up to and including voice and video.
Okay.
We went home after PJ's for a little while.
And
No, I'm going to tell you, before noon. They left BJ's and it was before noon. Okay. Now she said in her own words that just her and Sebastian left BJ's. Nobody else left with them. But I'm going to show you a a message in a few minutes that contradicts exactly what she said by the woman's house who she was at. And the timelines do not match up. Sorry, I'm not ignoring you guys. It's on a different screen, so I got to keep coming over to see when I'm playing that video. I thought she said she stopped and asked the lady if she's seen. No, she's talking about on the 25th right now. She's talking about the day of the 25th. And that's saying something. That's saying something because, man, yeah. Sorry, I'm just looking to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay.
loaded the groceries.
Yeah, we didn't get a whole lot, but yeah.
And after they were at the house, they wound up eventually leaving there, and they go to Strike and Sperry.
Because we were gonna go bowling.
Because the plan was to go bowling, but because there was a bowling tournament going on,
Yeah.
they didn't get to bowl. They had to play video games.
There was too long of a wait list, and it was a school night, so I promised to take him bowling another day, and instead we played video
But the
games.
school night, it was Sunday night, weekend night going into the school.
He gets so mad at Katie right here, and he wants to argue with her that Sunday is not a school night. Every parent of children know that Sunday night is considered a school night because you have to get up and go to school the next morning. So you can clearly tell in this that you're about to hear that Chris is very, very controlling, and he indeed is trying to steer a narrative and keep it in this neat little box that he's made out for it to be in. Anything that goes outside of Chris's neat little box, he flips out. Because what? Because he loses control, and that would kill him, right? So listen.
We don't. No, it is not. It's considered a weekend. Don't take away.
He had to go to bed to get up for school.
It was Sunday night, weekend night going into.
There was too long of a wait list, and it was a school night, so I promised to take him bowling another day, and instead we played video games.
But school night, it was Sunday night, weekend night going into the school. We don't. No, it is not. It's considered a weekend. Don't take away.
Sunday is not a weekend. Listen to how angry he gets. He's like, his whole tone changes right here. He's like, no.
No, it is not. It's considered a weekend. Don't take away.
He had to go to bed to get up for school the next day.
Okay, that's still not school night.
Oh my God. What do you even do with someone like that? She's like, he had to go to bed so he could get up for school the next day. No, it's not a school night. Like, what? And oh my God. And you've been a step parent for how many years? Wow.
Semantics is a large play in this deal.
It means a night that you have to go to bed to get up for school.
And notice how right now, right? She sounds nothing like she sounds in her interviews, where she goes on there and forcibly tries to sound sad and upset. Listen to her here. It's a totally different Katie.
And understand something? You can say that. If she puts some shit out there like that, everybody's going to think, oh, well, it was a school night. So was it Sunday?
Sunday night.
But I'm telling you how these dumbasses think. I'm explaining to you. It's all it fucking takes.
All right. So after BJ's went home to unload groceries, then went to Strike and Spare.
Oops.
We played in the arcade for a while
All
because
that's been vetted by video.
Yeah.
They watched our every move the whole time we were there.
Nobody spoke to Sebastian as far as any adult. They can't see
No, he had 9 o'clock bedtime.
anywhere in the videos that they were followed.
Yeah,
So that is something that you're going to speculate on.
That's what he does, though. He talks in riddles a lot. And yes, I can. I can type 70 words a minute. I used to be able to type 90 words a minute.
It has been eliminated.
Yeah, I did talk to them about that, and they said that the cameras were shit. That they weren't really able to see a whole lot.
Okay, again, so here you have Chris saying, listen, it was all on video. Everything they did that day in the bowling alley, it was all on video. And Katie's going, yep, every move was accounted for. They watched it. They followed us through our whole day, every step we took. And she's like, yeah, well, we talked to them, and the footage from the bowling alley was basically no good. You couldn't make anything out. Like they didn't know that, but yet they're out here putting out this front like, oh yeah, check the cameras.
A lot of anything at the Strike and Spare.
Okay. Strike and Spare's kind of getting up there in age.
But they went all the way back to BJ's, all at Fun Jazz.
But we went straight from Strike and Spare to
Texas Roadhouse.
Okay.
and they confirmed again the video there. They even showed Seth a clip of it after his little.
Wait, what did she say?
But they went all the way back to BJ's, all at Fun Jazz.
But we went straight from Strike and Spare to
Texas Roadhouse.
Okay.
and they confirmed again the video there.
Texas
They even
Roadhouse.
showed Seth a clip of it after his little "I haven't seen proof of life" comment, even though he had.
Yeah.
Which did he tell you about that?
Okay, now that comment right there made by her. After his little proof of life comment, which he had, is a mother of a missing child really going to act that way? Is she really going to act that way towards, you know what I'm saying? Like talk like towards the father who was saying, I want proof of life of my son. Last proof of life, right? But that's the attitude that she took towards that. Come on. No parent of a missing child is going to be like that.
About what?
That his little comment, he hadn't seen proof of life since Friday or
Insinuating
or Thursday or Friday when I last saw or heard from my son.
Yeah, I'd heard about that comment. I mean, he hasn't said it to me, but I had heard about the comment.
But see, this is where, like, truth be told, this is where everything needs to come out.
He already knew that there was proof of life.
He knew there was proof of life prior to that. He started some shit. It caused a fucking stir. It caused a meeting. They showed him a video. Texas Roadhouse. They showed when they walked out of Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah.
He has seen a video of Sebastian at the fucking house Sunday night taking the fucking trash out.
Right.
Somebody was seen taking the trash out. According to Seth, you could not make out who it was.
From inside my car?
Yeah. So, okay, so you guys got...
Do you see the frustration where we have with your client?
Yeah, I do. But it's...
He said, do you see the frustration we have with your client? Oh, Lord. Chris, do you see the frustration with the whole, like, we all have with you and your nonsense and your lies and your freaking manipulation and your bullshit? Do you see it, Chris?
It's nice to have, like, a conversation with you instead of having to get everything, everywhere else. Definitely.
And we went home straight from Texas Roadhouse. And we were home for approximately 15 minutes before he took the trash out. And he is on video, and the FBI was able to clear it up and confirm that it's him.
I believe if that were true, I do believe this. I believe if that were true, the Ellie would have, I believe if they were able to confirm a lot of these claims made by the Proudfoots, they would do so. But I don't believe that is the case unless they're literally like working on building up a case. And I was just watching something last night. I don't remember what it was, but I was just watching something last night. And they were talking about how a lot of times in these cases, like it could take up to a little bit of a year or more just on these investigators trying to stack up enough evidence to to be able to get a conviction, which, I mean, it seems crazy, but
Even though you can tell it's him from a mile away because of how he runs, it's just, you could tell from his mannerisms. The second you look at it, it's him running, but still.
Okay. So he took the trash about 15 minutes. And that was about what time was that?
Don't know exactly off the top of our head.
well, shit, you know everything else, but you can't give specific times on nothing. Nothing can they give a specific time on except Katie hearing that thud at 10 p.m. That's a certain. That's a certain. Her being on the phone with Chris from 9 to midnight. That's a certain. But anything else, they can't give a time on. They just simply don't know.
You guys share a head?
Well, I know you told him to go to bed at about 9, right? And how much time was between the trash and going to bed?
A couple hours.
How's he know? He wasn't even there, right?
That's her typing. It's not me. This is me.
Okay.
That's just a sound effect. What she's really typing. This is my typewriter, though.
Okay, and then you guys were on the phone from about, 9 to 12?
Come on.
Sure.
Was that
All right, guy with the baby.
FaceTime or just a phone conversation?
Yeah, listen to this. She goes, so you guys were on the phone from whatever. And he's like, she goes, were you on FaceTime or a phone call? Listen to his, oh God, I don't want to hear the baby again.
Was that FaceTime or just a phone conversation?
It doesn't matter. We were on the phone.
Okay.
Those details don't have.
It don't matter. We were on the phone.
Is he stupid? Every little detail matters. Everything. It don't matter. We were on the phone. None of your business.
Love that.
Any bearing in this? It's just
Yeah.
the phone call was made, whether it was a FaceTime, a Zoom call,
The only
whether it was just a
reason-
voice chat.
Yeah, the only reason that I am curious about that is just to whether it was possible that he
Irony
had heard
Rose,
any
thank
of
you
that
for gifting the Live After
conversation.
Dark membership. Thank you so much.
No. Once again, our conversations are not where children can hear them.
Well, I mean, it's not like there was anything said that was like,
Love you.
Would have upset him.
yeah, no, I mean, it's not like we were arguing or anything.
I mean, can we just all take a second and acknowledge how different Katie is right now in her voice than she is every time she gets up on a panel or gets on the freaking news to do an interview? Like, it is 100% opposite.
I mean, we spend time on the phone daily because we live separately the majority of the time when he's on travel. So we call.
Yeah.
Oh, those
Okay.
noises are so annoying.
Okay, so there's about 9 o'clock. You told him to go to bed. You were on the phone from about 9 to 12. It was about 11 p.m. when you heard the noise from his bedroom.
No.
No? That's not right. Hello?
Yeah, we're still here. No. What you said was not right.
Well, can you correct me?
No.
Somewhere between 9 and 12.
So she says you hear a noise in his room at 11, right? He's like, no. Okay, well, can you correct me? What time did you hear it? Oh, she heard it sometime between 9 and 12. This is, I mean, seriously. Well, you know what? I'm going to go over here for a second. Do you find that his attitude towards everything completely ridiculous? Well, what time did you hear the noise? Between 9 and 12. Really? Wow. Thanks, guy. Can you care any freaking less? Seriously. I mean, I can't be the only one that sees this. Put a 1 in the chat if you think that his attitude towards this whole case, towards Sebastian, is completely ridiculous. He totally acts like he does not care. Is that just me?
There was what you said was not right.
Well, can you correct me?
No.
Somewhere between 9 and 12. There was a sound heard, and Mom told him, Sebastian,
Now listen to this. Now listen to listen to this.
whatever you're doing in there, knock it off and go to bed. He said, yes, ma'am.
Between 9 and 12.
I mean, did they forget what time they said? Seriously, like, did they forget? And so he was like, between 9 and 12. Couldn't remember. Didn't want to say the wrong thing again. So they just didn't get, here he is again, not giving a time.
All right. And then nothing until you went to wake him up, right?
No, nothing until she went to wake him up.
And that was about 6 a.m.
So, and tell her what you just said, so that way, for the record, make it clear.
Yeah, but that's how shit gets started.
No, because she said that what I told you about hearing the noise, her saying go to bed.
Here's Chris catching an attitude again.
And he said yes, so that way, for the record. No, nothing until she went to wake him up.
And that was about 6 a.m.
So, and tell her what you just said, so that way, for the record, make it clear.
Yeah, but that's how shit gets started.
No, because she said that what I told you about hearing the noise, her saying go to bed, and he said yes, ma'am. Apparently that's wrong. So correct it.
I told him, I don't care what you're doing, knock it off and go to sleep.
Did he answer?
He said, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Once again, right back to what I fucking said.
Okay. Okay.
Wow, he got mad, didn't he? He gets mad anytime he is questioned, or again, like I said, something is not inside this little perfect little box that he wanted to. Sebastian put this whole case in a little box and wrap it with a bow. And if anything falls outside of that box, nope, Chris can't have it because he can control what's in that box.
Now my dog's going to want to start barking. I'm sorry. Hold on one second. There was something I was going to ask you. Okay, so I did want to go back to where you.
Yeah, Don Wells used to do this too. I mean, Candace would almost never speak. Katie speaks a little bit more than Candace, but Don was the kind of the one leading the charge. I think I don't know.
That you had said that you didn't think he ran away and that he ran away. So what do you think?
Neither one of us have an idea.
Yeah.
All we can
They said they don't think he ran away.
tell you is like, that's why I asked you what you exactly know.
Wait a minute. You said you don't think he ran away, but yet when the cops showed up, see, this is all after the fact. When the cops showed up, what was it they were told? They were told that Sebastian walked out the door on his own some point between midnight and 6 a.m. Walked out the door. Now they say they don't think he ran away. But yet, that's what you told the police that morning, and that's why nothing was done correctly. It's easy to sit here and say that shit now. But that's the narrative. That's the story they've been pushing since day one.
Of this case, what Seth has told you makes it easier for us to fill in the blanks.
Yeah. What do you think happened to Sebastian? We don't know. But that's why I wanted to know what Seth has told you. That's why I want to know what you know. So I can fill in the blanks. Mr. I wasn't even there.
It's like, that's why I asked you what you exactly know of this case. What Seth has told you makes it easier for us to fill in the blanks.
Because it doesn't make sense.
Exactly, Katie. Thank you very much. I couldn't have said it better. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Because your client has an idea in his head, and that is his narrative.
I like how you said like your client.
And that's what he is painting.
Oh.
So I just need to know what's being said. And I'll fill you in.
Well, the thing is about Seth that I don't think he's kind of just back and forth about things, you know?
And see, that's where he's stupid and he's wrong.
Well, he doesn't.
Okay, let me explain this part. So she says, Seth doesn't know. He goes back and forth on things because he doesn't know. And what does Chris say? Well, that's where he's stupid and he's wrong. He's wrong for trying to figure out what happened to his son because allegedly, unlike you, you have the answers? What? Because his response should have been, we do the same thing. Chris's response should have been, yeah, I get that. We do the same thing. We go back and forth on all these different things because we don't know either. But instead, he says that's where he's stupid and that's where he's wrong. So he's saying that Seth is stupid for not knowing what happened to his son.
But no, he doesn't. Seth, that I don't think he's kind of just back and forth about things, you know?
And see, that's where he's stupid and he's wrong.
Well, he doesn't know. He doesn't know if he was lured. He doesn't know if something happened in the house. I just have to say that, you know, or if, and he doesn't know if he ran away. Like he doesn't know.
Well, see here, let me help you something. If something happened in the house, that should never be a statement that comes out of your mouth or his fucking mouth for that.
Why wouldn't that be a statement? She said he doesn't know if he ran away. He doesn't know if he was lured out. He doesn't know if something happened in that house. And Chris gets mad and says, see, that should never come out of anybody's mouth. Well, why wouldn't it? Any reasonable person, if a child goes missing under your care, any reasonable parent is going to question that. Any reasonable parent is going to be like, well, I mean, did something happen to him? And of course he's going to think that. But no, nobody's ever allowed to say that because it doesn't. What's that, guys? Oh, that's right. It doesn't fit in Chris's box.
Matter, because quite honestly, law enforcement has already vetted all that shit, and there's nothing. There's no reason to insinuate, no reason to make that comment.
Well, that is not true, I believe, because I do believe that if they were truly cleared by law enforcement would come out and they would tell people that they have been cleared. Listen, guys, you're barking up the wrong tree. They've been cleared. Law enforcement has never, let me say it again, law enforcement has never come out and cleared them.
Well, I mean, I'm just being transparent with you because
you're being frank, but I'm being extremely frank with you.
Yeah.
If there was something in there that they think had an issue, they would have already have gone down that route.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know anything about what law enforcement is thinking or what they're doing. You know as well as I do, they don't share that with me and they don't have to, and I don't expect them to.
Exactly.
There it is. I mean, that.
All right, that's it. I think that speaks volumes. I mean, Chris has been told multiple lies. So how anybody can sit there and say he's not a known liar is beyond me. Didn't care enough about the time they were establishing an alibi. He is fishing to see what they know. Yep. He said if something happened in that house, that should never come out of anyone's mouth. Right. Exactly. Whoops. Welcome in all of you that have come in. Thank you guys for coming. Please do me a favor and hit that like button on your way in. All right. Let me see here. I'll get into all that after. Oh, yeah. Let me play this. Now, I know there was a lot going on. There was a lot going on when Seth got rid of the PI he had, right? And a lot of people, he said it was because she was giving information to Ellie instead of him or whatever, giving it to them first instead of telling him about it or whatever. And I know a lot of people looked at that and they were like, well, that seems sketchy. Wonder why he would do that. Let me tell you, I'm going to play this video. And I can say right now that if I had hired a private investigator to work on my son's case, and my private investigator was intentionally withholding information and evidence from me, yeah, you better believe I'd have fired her. I'd have fired her ass too. So let's take a listen to this.
as far as the leaked audio, I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys about what I know about that. Chloe and I both had withheld that from Seth because we just, like I've said before, we felt like it was just going to cause more problems. And
see, that's not your job as a private investigator. Your job is to not withhold information from your client.
That's not something I usually do with my clients because I don't feel good about withholding anything from my clients. And frankly, if I give my client something and they want to leak it to the world, they can do that. That's their prerogative. But in this particular case, because of how hostile it's been and whatnot, Chloe and I both felt like it was best to not share any of the audios. And I had several.
Any of the audios, none of the audios that this woman is talking about were shared with the client that she is representing, which is bonkers to me.
Audios with Chris. The people didn't hear, I got a lot of criticism, like I didn't stand up for Chloe enough and whatever. Like I had worked really hard to get in good graces with Chris and Katie.
Anybody have any questions as to why, Seth said, yeah, you're probably not the best person for this job. She worked really hard to get into the good graces with Chris and Katie. Huh.
Well, I talked to Seth the other day.
Okay.
And I tell him, he wasn't happy with me about, talking about what happened with the audio.
Okay.
Because I just put it out there, and that's something that he doesn't. I discussed that he had sent it to Nina for the court hearing.
Person did you give it to? Who was the first person you gave it to?
I sent it to Tracy, my assistant,
Tracy.
my partner. Sent it to Tracy. I sent it to another PI that is an associate of mine, and I know he didn't send it anywhere.
So Tracy was the first person.
Yeah,
and then another guy.
Trusted people, and I'm like, hey, what do you help me out with this? Like, what do you feel about this?
So how many people did you send it to originally, sweetheart?
I believe 5.
5, and you trusted all 5 of those people,
and I still do. Yeah.
Do you?
Now, I sent it to Chloe, of course, and Chloe and her associate, her colleague, whatever you want to call him. She was busy. Yeah, she was busy. So she asked me to send it to him, and he would listen to it, and then he would send it to her.
So you sent a recording to them by what? Video text, or how did you do that?
No, I think it was email.
An email. So we've got 5 people you sent it to. So would Chloe's associate be 6?
Nah, that was part of the 5.
I mean, but you said she had somebody.
Yeah, that was part of the 5. That was part of
That's
the
part of 5. I got you. Did you send it to Seth?
No, but I did have to go back because that was a question. Hey, did you send?
You're a PI. Somebody has hired you as a private investigator to find their son, and you have this evidence or these recordings from the other party, from the people who were in care of Sebastian when he went missing. And you send it to 5 people and don't send it to your client. I was like, wow, seriously, that is insane. Yeah, SF. Yes, because he works with Chloe, which is another crazy thing. It almost seems, yes, it almost seems like the deck was stacked against Seth from the very beginning, right? Even with the PIs he hired. Like, it's actually astounding to me. absolutely crazy. Yes, Chloe and SF work together. Yes. But we knew that in the Kylie Rodney case. Yeah, we knew that in the Kylie case, which in turn, I mean, how Pete, listen, I don't know how Chloe became Seth's PI, but SF was the Proudfoot's PI and they were partners. Like that is so wrong on so many levels that it honestly, it looks like the deck was stacked against Seth from the very beginning. And the people that he was surrounded by, the people that were supposed to be working for him, were all attached to the other side, which is absolutely insane to me. Like, it is crazy. Hello, Kristen. Thanks for coming in. No, that's all right. Oh, yes. Those of you that are not already, please consider becoming a member. It's a way to support the channel. Become a member and join our family. We'd love to have you. We appreciate each and every one of you. Okay. Now, moving on. Give me 1 second here. Oh, by the way, that video was from Hindsight. I forgot to say that. That video that I just played you about the recordings, and that was from Hindsight's channel. Okay, yeah, I'm going to go over that. Oh, yes. Let me pull this up. So going back to the timeline. So Katie, they said that they left BJ's before noon. Before noon, they left BJ's, and they left BJ's, just those two, right? So here's Katie's story. They picked up a niece. They went to BJ's, met Chris's sisters there and the other kids. And then Katie and Sebastian left BJ's, right? And went home. Okay. Well, another thing was not mentioned here. So let me pull this up. Oh, Veronica, welcome to the family. And Star Child, thank you so much for gifting a membership. You are awesome. Chloe, aka DX, was SF's attorney during Kylie after she started the PI stuff via SF. But what I'd like to know is what caused them to split a few months ago. Yeah, I don't know. Welcome to the family, Veronica. And again, Star Child, thank you so much for the gift. Gifted. Okay. Let me pull this up. All right, now. Here's a Dara Nebel. Yep, he was at my house for a few minutes on Sunday afternoon with his mom and his cousin. Thank you for sharing. Great info. Okay, so this person is saying, whoever this is, I don't even know who this is, but Katie, Sebastian, and the niece were at this woman's house. So that was not in the timeline. He was at my house for a few minutes on Sunday afternoon with his mom and his cousin, talking about Sebastian. Now, we were told Katie said that they left BJ's before around right before noon. They left BJ's before noon and nobody else was with them. But this person is claiming that I'm sorry, that Katie, Sebastian, and the niece were at her house. So how could that be? That doesn't fit in with the timeline. See, all we have to, this is the unfortunate thing, is we have to go off Katie's word because we don't have any other information, right? We don't have any information from Ellie. We don't know what they know, blah, blah, blah. But it's all lies and inconsistencies because nothing matches with what Chris and Katie, the narrative that they want to push is not mathing. The math is not mathing at all. Okay. Yes, I don't know. So if you know who that is, let me know. I think Chloe justified it because she was working for Seth for free. Yeah, but even so, even if she was working for free, her partner was the PI for the Proudfoots. So that is that should be a conflict of interest right there. And I don't know why, that's just crazy to me. All right. Now we're going to get into some of this stuff with Katie. No, that's not it. Hold on a second, guys. Okay. So we know that there was talk between Chris and Katie and Seth about Sebastian going to live with Seth, right? Going to live with him full time. That was the deal. Katie and Chris had had enough. They wanted him to have, the majority of the custody, right? So everyone wants to talk about how this guy's so bad and he was abusive to Katie and he was abusive to Sebastian when, he was abusive to Sebastian. He was abusive to Katie when they were married, blah, blah, blah. Everyone says, well, she filed for divorce. Did you see the divorce? Did you see what, what everything she filed against Seth in that time? Now, let's just look at this real quick. Now, this was written from Katie. Since returning from deployment in December, and again, she filed for divorce in February of 2016. Since returning from deployment in December, I have witnessed a multitude of events from Seth. I have seen him hit Sebastian in the head, neck, and back. I have witnessed him when taking his anger out on Sebastian, grab him with both hands, lift his entire body up, and slam him down, then proceed to beat him. He has, on many cases, whipped him with a belt, not paying attention to where he was hitting because he was so angry. Okay. Well, I'm going to call bullshit. Because you got to think, Katie had met Chris when she was still with Seth. They had met, right? Okay, well, keep that in mind because Katie wanted out of the relationship with Seth. She wanted in with the relationship with somebody else. So she says all these things. Well, he beat him. He hit him in his head, his neck, his back. I watched him body slam him on the floor and then proceed to beat him. He has, on many cases, whipped him with a belt, not paying attention to where he was hitting because he was so angry. So let me get this straight. You witnessed all of this abuse. You're saying that he beat him. And yet you didn't file for full custody with him not, you know what I'm saying? You didn't have him arrested for that. You didn't have him, you didn't take full custody away from him. You're going to tell me that you witnessed all of this stuff and you're still okay with giving a man like that visitation, like weekends, like summertime, like holidays? That's cool. Bullshit. But yet, when it's brought up about Chris hitting Sebastian with a belt, that's all good. That's all good, right? Like the lies and the manipulation from Katie herself. You know, we've spent a lot of time talking about how manipulative Chris is. But Katie is just as manipulative. She wanted out of the relationship with Seth. She wanted to be with another man. So she tried to manipulate the courts into granting her emergency protective order to get Seth out of the house, get away from him. And not for nothing, but that was dismissed. The judge went through it all, looked at it all, and it was all dismissed. So don't for one second sit there and paint Katie as a victim, because she is just as equally manipulative as Christopher Proudfoot, her husband, is. Now, let's listen to some other stuff that she had to say. Chris told Katie exactly what to write for custody of Sebastian. He pulled the same exact thing on Nina. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Let me see, which one is it? Hold on, I got a few pulled up here. Okay, yeah. I gotta be right up on my screen to read this. It's just so small. But now that was just what I just read to you was an insert from this right here, because I want to read this whole thing to you. I want you to understand how manipulative this woman really is. Her and Chris are like two peas in a freaking pod. So since returning from deployment in December, I've witnessed a multitude of events from Seth. I've seen him hit Sebastian in the head, neck, and back. I've witnessed him, when taking his anger out on Sebastian, grab him with both hands, lift his entire body up, and slam him down, then proceed to beat him. He has on many cases whipped him with a belt, not paying attention to where he was hitting because he was so angry. My neighbors informed me that during my duty days, they have seen Sebastian on multiple occasions coming outside of the house crying and looking for his dad because he had been gone for long periods of time and he didn't know where he was. They told me they had told my son to go inside and lock the door when this occurred. Seth will, on a regular basis, just walk into the living room and get naked, not caring that Sebastian is in the area, and sees this. On several occasions, when Sebastian expressed stress or anxiety about our separation on his daddy's anger, he would respond by telling Sebastian that this is all because mommy doesn't want to love daddy anymore. By the second week of school, the teachers had already requested that the principal be present anytime that Seth were, due to him making them uncomfortable. When we went to the school to meet his teacher before the school year had started, we had just finished explaining about Sebastian's diagnosis and about the fluid on his brain, and he did something to irritate his father, who then responded by hitting him in the head in front of his teacher. And when I addressed him about it and told him he cannot do that and cannot keep doing that because it is wrong, he told me it wasn't that hard and is fine, and people need to stop telling him how to raise his son. I'll go over it. I'll give you my commentary after I finish. It's so hard to read. I found out when I took the restraining order to the school that they had contacted CPS 1 week prior. Okay. I found out when I took the restraining order to the school that they had contacted CPS, Child Protective Services, 1 week prior. that's not that. Katie would have known if CPS was contacted, because they would have contacted her. The social worker and myself have seen behaviors from my son, such as waking up, screaming and kicking in the middle of the night with terrors, fear of making a mistake for fear that daddy will beat him. He had an accident at school when he wet his pants and was terrified for daddy to find out. He is displaying aggressive behaviors that mirror what his father says and does. I have reached out to his doctor and I am requesting assistance and therapy with PTSD in light of the child abuse and to help my son recover from this. I have spoken to his doctor and a referral is in place for therapy to start as soon as possible to help him with his transition and to cope and recover from the trauma that he has been through. Seth has been monitoring all of my phone calls and not allowing me to speak with anyone, including my family, without listening. And he has been monitoring every text and call that I make to patronize me and keep me from telling people exactly what has been going on. Love you. Hovering over every call that I make. On 6/5/16, Seth was very angry and belligerent. He stormed out of the house and got into that Chevy. What the hell? Chevy something. Wow, this is like, my God. And peeled tires out of the parking lot. Approximately 30 minutes, give or take later, he came back, pulling in crooked and fast, jumped out of the car and ran inside the house, looking for his gun, stating that he was going to kill that blank. My neighbor was over at the time and took recording of him during that time. I responded that if he took his gun and tried to kill someone, he would end up in jail and that he could not do that. My neighbor went outside with them and went outside with him and spoke to him, where he stated that someone followed him and threw a soda at the car, and there was soda all over the outside of the car. Okay, good Lord. And he pulled him out of the car through the driver's side window and punched him in the face. He said he did nothing to provoke this and refused to make a police report after being repeatedly advised to call the police and make an incident report. He did not have markings, but was exaggerating his limp for approximately 5 minutes before walking normally again. I have also received multiple complaints at various times throughout the past 4 to 6 months from neighbors that he makes them feel uncomfortable because he is standing out front, confronting everyone when they come home or watching them. My neighbor in unit blank is in process of adopting, and they have persons come to their house on a regular basis. I caught Seth approximately 1 month ago confronting the gentleman because he parked in his spot and telling him he doesn't care who the F he is, and that if he does it again, he'll take action to have his car towed or beat his ass. This was to a social worker there to check their home, and he knew it. Okay. Oh. So she goes into all, I mean, that is very manipulative, especially since if this was true, and the school was in fact notified and CPS was in fact notified and he was covered in all of these bruises, like she said, Sebastian would have been taken from him. He would have been arrested, and that would have been that. But you have a woman that claims all of this, but then just says, you know what, it's cool, I want him to have half custody. No freaking way. No way. A parent is not going to do that. Wow. Like, it is insane to me. And the judge read through all of this, read through Seth's response to all of this, and then dismissed her case. Dismissed it. No good. So anybody that wants to keep going on about that, for what? It's not legit. It's been dismissed. The judge said no freaking way. Blah, blah, blah. So everyone needs to stop painting her as such a victim. You know, I know a lot of people think that Chris is the control freak, and which he is. Chris is the mastermind. Chris is this, Chris is that. But Katie is right up there with him, you guys. She tried to lie and manipulate her way into freedom. And when the judge said nope and dismissed the protective order, dismissed everything else, I mean, what does that tell you? This is how manipulative this woman is. But to sit here and state all of these things about someone and then let your child continue to go see that person, continue to go be around that person, continue to go stay with that person. And then to say just recently, we want Sebastian to go live with Seth. Seth is going to have full custody. Come on. The lies and manipulation that have come from the Proudfoots is absolutely insane. And I don't understand why people don't see that. I tried to zoom in on it, girl. I tried. I could not get it. I'm like, you should see me trying to read this freaking thing. My face is like an inch from the screen. I'm like, holy cow. Exactly, Mama. Exactly. Neighbors were so concerned they told Sebastian to go into the apartment alone and lock the door rather than holding on to him and calling authorities. Exactly. It's just freezer. It's just more manipulation. I mean, it is absolutely crazy. But what's really crazy is look at the husband she's got now, who has admittedly himself hit Sebastian with a belt, who has hit him, who we saw that video. She was so concerned about the water on the brain, or water. I keep saying water, about the liquid on the brain, but yet they've got him riding a bike on cement with no helmet on. No helmet. But he's got fluid on the brain. But let's take a video of him with riding his bike on cement, supposedly learning how to ride his bike with no helmet on. Make it make sense. You know what? I honestly, my gosh, you hear these stories. Like, I remember hearing this story. This was probably 20 years, maybe 15, 20 years ago. But there was this janitor at a school, and she would see this kid come into school all the time. And he was abused at home. He had a terrible life, just had a lot of issues and stuff at home. And the kid coming up missing one day. Well, 4 years later, found out that the lady janitor, had taken the kid, moved away, and to give this kid a better life. Like, she wasn't harming him or anything, but she actually took him to have a better life. Sometimes I think about that, but I don't know. I think there would be, we're all just needing some type of evidence or some type of confirmation that points to one thing. I agree. I know. I say that every day. Like, you get to the point where you're like you're at a loss because you're just like, it's so hard to sift through all the shit, It's like, holy cow, hope you got your waders on, because I mean, shit's knee deep around here, and it never gets any better. It's just, we just need one thing. We need someone to come forward. You need someone to, we need evidence to be presented. Oh, speaking of evidence, see, I had just seen this the other day where they were at the news. It was a news channel and they were at the landfill. And the guy said, so the law enforcement is taking all of the evidence collected, going through it, and then determining whether or not to continue on with the search. So they clearly found evidence in that landfill. Now, in order for evidence to be in that landfill, it had to have been things that were in Chris and Katie's garbage can that Sunday night. Chris and Katie's garbage can. They did find stuff at Sebastian's. Now, if you think about the clothes that Katie was caught dropping off and throwing away and donating of Sebastian's after he went missing, is insane. Insane. This is not what parents do that are holding on to hope that their kid is coming home. Parents that are holding on to hope that their kid is coming home are not getting in an RV and traveling and leaving their house. It's not going to happen. Threats, nothing. Nothing is going to stop them from being there and waiting for their son to come home, or their missing child. It's like absurd what these two have done and how they have any support. Like, I don't get it. Like, what is wrong with people? So many people are blinded by the bullshit that it is absolutely insane to me. Oh, speaking of, isn't this funny? Speaking of, so they just did, hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second, guys. Oh, and by the way, before I forget this, if you remember, Summer Wells' parents did the same thing. Right after she went missing, they donated a bunch of her clothes. Yeah. Yep. Cleaned her room right out. So anyway, back to that point. I'd love to see Sebastian's present day bedroom. So the parents, all three of the parents, just participated in America's Most Wanted episode for missing kids. It features Sebastian. As a matter of fact, it airs tonight, doesn't it, on Fox? I'm pretty sure it airs tonight. Well, it'll premiere tonight. I don't know if Sebastian's episode is tonight, but the premiere is tonight. But anyway, so they went to Seth's. Seth showed him Sebastian's room, everything in there. It's left just the way Sebastian left it. Chris and Katie wouldn't even do the interview in their house. They would not do the interview in their house. Now, the only reason, because interviews and cameras have been in their house before. So now again, this is just alleged and in my opinion, the only reason why I can think of that they would not do the interview in their house is because they did not want to show Sebastian's bedroom. Now, what reason for that, BC, and why would they not want to show Sebastian's bedroom? Because I'm thinking that allegedly, this is just my opinion, that it's not Sebastian's bedroom anymore. You know how a lot of parents keep their kids' bedrooms as shrines when they go missing? You know, that they'll put birthday presents in there and Christmas presents in there, and they'll keep it their room. They'll just add stuff to it every year, waiting for their kid to come home. Katie was donating Sebastian's clothes after he went missing. Who does that? What did the cops find at the landfill that Katie had thrown in the trash that belonged to Sebastian? I mean, this is absolutely asinine to me. Hey, Daphne. Good. How are you tonight? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but they never would let anyone in Sebastian's room. It's all gone. Yeah, exactly. I wonder if they are nervous at all about this show. Chris made it crystal clear, as he likes to say, that they weren't allowed to preview or anything before anyone else. Good. Good. I mean, that's what I would be doing for sure. My kid's room would be exactly the same as it was. I would not throw none of. I mean, who does that? That's what I. This is what I go back and forth with. I go back and forth with Ellie because part of me is going, okay, they're taking their time. They're building a case. They're collecting all this evidence. They're watching everything Chris and Katie say. They're building it. They're building it. That's one side of me. And the other side of me is like, are they even are they covering for them? Are they on their side? Are they trying to you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't know what to think at this point as far as that goes. Also, exactly. Dude, I just saying to my husband today, I go, why is it that every freaking case I seem to come to is some shifty, shady, sketchy bullshit like this with everybody involved? Why? The red flag is they wanted him gone to a boys' home. Then he just vanishes. Well, that tells me he wasn't wanted. Oh, absolutely. Hi, Simone. I like your content. I think CP and KP are innocent, but I am open-minded, or I am open always. Well, I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate your opinion. I do. And again, I'm not stating anything as fact. I don't know what happened to Sebastian. All I can do is say, well, listen, this shit don't make sense. Their timeline's not, you know what I mean? All I can do is call out things that I see, and that's it. This whole thing is absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. Okay. Moving on. Those of you that are just coming in, please do me a favor and hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you have not already done so. Those of you that want to become a member of the family and help us support what we do here, please consider getting a membership and joining the CNY family. All right. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm going to pull this up. Daphne, shout out to you for putting this together. Thank you, Simone. Appreciate that. Okay, Sebastian Rogers revised. FYI, I'm going to keep adding events as they happen. The day out before he went missing, that night, February 25th, 2024, details are given in some, but not others. Why? The first event, Katie Proudfoot states her and Sebastian made spaghetti pancakes and bragged to family via FaceTime. Details. The details were put in there. Revised. Second event, before noon on the way to BJ's Wholesale, Katie picked up two sisters, Melissa and Cassie, confirmed Chris Proudfoot's sisters and their children, more than one. Well, I don't know. You're saying picked them up. She's saying they all met there. But, I mean, and their children more than once. Sebastian and his mom, Katie Proudfoot, plus others went to BJ's Wholesale Club. Colossal popcorn, detail. But Katie leaves the others out, only exaggerates the popcorn Sebastian had. True. Because in the first, she never mentions before in any of the interviews that meeting family there. Like the first time I've ever heard her herself say that she met family where it was on that leaked phone call that we'd listened to in the beginning. It said that Chris's sisters left after BJ's, which contradicts, as he said, they went with Katie and Sebastian. Details left out. So did they all meet at BJ's and drive separate vehicles, or did they ride with Katie and Sebastian and get an Uber or get picked up? She said they all met up there. Well, that's what she just said in the recording. Third event, Sebastian and his mom, Katie Proudfoot, went to Strike and Spare. No details. Well, now we know that they weren't allowed to, or he couldn't bowl. So they had to play the arcade. Fourth event, PM. Sebastian and his mom, Katie Proudfoot, had dinner, Texas Roadhouse. Details after footage shown, but not before. Why? And not to mention that she went to Texas Roadhouse to try to get this footage. She didn't want anybody else. She didn't want it to be released to anybody else. That should tell you something. She was not happy when she found out that somebody else had that footage. Neither was Chris. If she was excited about Sebastian's eating a salad dressing, wouldn't this be said as the colossal popcorn was? Fifth event, PM. Upon returning home, Sebastian took out the trash to the curb. No details. Sixth event, PM. Sebastian went to bed. Said goodnight, puppies. Goodnight, mama. Details. Seventh event, Katie was on the phone with her husband, Christopher Proudfoot. No details of the conversation. Eighth event, PM. Katie hears a thud from Sebastian's room and loudly yells, "Go to bed." No details on what caused the thump, and she said herself that she didn't get up to go check. No details given about picking up niece and children on the way to BJ's, so no details given at bowling alley. Don't you think this would be where more details would be given? For instance, like he won a game, etc. Texas Roadhouse, no details given until after the footage was shown per at night. Why? Trash, no details given here, but nothing really to say. There's been rumors of a neighbor saying they saw someone taking the trash out with jeans and a black hoodie. Katie and Chris, no details of their 3-hour conversation. As a matter of fact, they don't even want to tell you if they were on the phone or on FaceTime. Thud, no details other than he responded back with, okay. Katie didn't ask if he was okay or what made that noise. Exactly. Let me see. Let me see if I can find that. Hold on. Let's see. 9 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, it just says tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern time. It airs on Fox TV. If you don't have that, it'll be available on Hulu tomorrow. But again, I don't know if that's Sebastian's episode. That's just the premiere. So I'm not sure, if that'll be Sebastian's. Just making sure I didn't. Okay. Hello, Low Red. All right, I want to make sure I cover all of that first before I want to make sure I get all of that done before I move on to this next section. Dude, camera thing is super. SOF. Did you hear that? Did you hear that part about the dash cam? Or it's not a dash cam. I shouldn't say that. But there's something in their car that records audio and video, but it's not OnStar. It's not a dash cam. It's like, okay, well, it's something, but Chris doesn't want anybody to know what it is. All right. Now let's pull this up. Now, again, I had seen this. I did not listen to the whole thing. I just seen a clip of it, like a short clip of it. But where the hell is it? Hold on a second. Receipts. Okay, right here. Playing. Oh, over here. No. Give me a sec. What the hell is that? I don't. Dude, hold on a minute. I don't know why I can hear this, but it's not even pulled up here. Hold on, you guys. Oh, right here. What the f- Dude, hold on. There is this freaking video playing, and I can't get it. It's not even pulled up on my thing. Like, this is making no sense here.
Dana.
I got there. I'm like, what in the world? I was on a whole different thing there. Let me get out of here. That was bonkers. Okay, no. That was on a whole different page that I had. Jeez. Okay, now moving on to this. Because I haven't listened to this yet, so I'm going to listen to it with you guys.
Let me start off by saying that I hate that I'm even having to come on here and have this conversation. I really thought that.
No way. Isn't there a short one that just. Oh my God. I thought this was the clip. So supposedly, this lady, this barbecue lady, went to lunch with Katie and some other people, and this lady supposedly recorded the conversation, which I can pull this up. The lady supposedly recorded this conversation and says that just now, because like I want just the clip where she states that. Like, I don't want to watch her whole thing. Is that the one, Daphne? I don't want to. I mean, that's just forever. Seeing why I posted Tammy's short clip on X. I have it on my feed. All right, give me a second, guys. Let me pull this because it'll be so much easier than going through that. I don't want to go through all that. That's craziness. Give me just a second, you guys. Watch now, freaking. Where are you? I am not seeing it. Daphne. Wait a minute. Let me see if it's right here. Oh, okay. Yep. Got it. Thank you. All right. So let me share this instead. I gotcha. I got it. Thank you. I will. Give me just.
To Tennessee to our Airbnb, and it was Emily, Nikki, myself, and Barbecue, and Katie. And we had went out. Katie had Ubered to our room. She came into the room and talked to us for a little bit, and then we got in an Uber and went to eat. Well, that was the first day that we were there, and lo and behold, I find a message in my phone that says from Barbecue, "Hey, by the way, I'm recording." And she said, it said, I'm gonna show you the screenshot. By the way, I'm recording. She just messed up on his age or something, and it may not be anything, but I want to be able to go like listen back to it. Now, this was the day before Nikki picked up the phone and saw her recording. So not only was she recording that night, she was recording, I guess, the whole time that Katie was with us, because Katie ended up going out with us the next day and eating lunch. And then that's when Erin actually picked up Barbecue's phone and she was recording Katie. But she was recording Katie. But let me show my.
Uh-oh.
Let me just pull up that text here and just kind of show y'all. This one. 5:55. Messed up with herself. The click. It was me, Emily, Barbecue, and Nikki in the chat. And here's where she says, Stephanie Barbecue later, I am recording, FYI. I also got that part where she just messed up with his age. Might be nothing, but just wanted to re-listen. So
Okay, well then it must be something else, because there's a clip going around of supposedly Katie admitting and slipping up and saying before Sebastian was murdered. Now I don't know, like it's been all over, but I don't seem to. I thought that was the clip of it, but I guess that was not. But that is supposedly when this happened, so that's really odd. Me either. I've never heard of that chick before in my life. She was on today and denied any recording. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Well, not for nothing, but I did see this. It popped up with that stuff. So apparently, I don't know what's going on, but apparently people sent her like videos of them or put out videos of them like burning her cookbook. And this is what she had to say about it. Dude, you can't trust anybody on these streets. Like, it is insane.
But like this picture that I've got up on the screen, you know, people are out here burning my cookbook, which whatever, you know, and they're up in everybody's chats.
Who did that, by the way?
We'll find out. You want to know how we'll find out? Because I got everybody's address that ordered a cookbook. And Google is a wonderful thing. Google Earth, Street View. You don't think that fucking true crimers are going to find that fucking sidewalk or driveway?
Oh, I can find it. Send it.
Oh my God. I can't. She said, oh, I'll find out.
So I'm just saying, listen, be careful who you are associating yourself with, I would say. No clip, just a friend of a fan saying it. No recording produced. See, that's the thing. Exactly. Where is the recording? That's why I try to say it's all nonsense unless you have the actual recording. Because somebody coming out and saying, that's why I didn't pay no attention to it. Because somebody coming out and saying, well, Katie slipped up and I heard her say, you know, Sebastian was blank. Well, you have a recording of it. So where's the recording of her saying that? You know what I'm saying? It's not Katie saying though. Oh, go check. Okay, give me a second, you guys. Okay, let's pull this up then. Can I? Yeah, I can do that. Okay, let me do that this way. I guess I'll play this. Thank you, Daphne. Yeah, it's been word of mouth, but not words coming out her mouth. Gotcha. I know some creators hold on to everything that comes out as if it's real. If any of it was real, they would have already been arrested thinking about it. I mean, dude, let me tell you, if I had a recording of Katie saying that, absolutely would have been the first thing I put out. But I wouldn't if I was trying to protect Katie. Which I don't know why anybody would be at this point. All right, so let me just share this one real quick, and then we will move on.
Went missing. And unfortunately, there have been no leads to the whereabouts of Sebastian. I still try to keep up with any updates in regards to the case. Unfortunately, there is a lot of drama, but we're not covering that. We're covering something that was released on a live yesterday. And this was from someone that met with Katie Proudfoot in person and had lunch with her. From what I am understanding out of this clip is that Katie Proudfoot, while at lunch with this lady, made a statement that Sebastian was murdered. We do not have the recording of Katie Proudfoot saying this herself, but if you've been following this case, you know Katie Proudfoot has not been in the public's eye very much at all. So if this clip is true, does that mean that Katie Proudfoot slipped up?
As soon as Katie said those words of that supposedly is who Seth named as Sebastian's godmother, when I've only met her one time, and that was before he was murdered. Immediately, we heard those words.
You did, not me.
Us locked eyes and even asked each other at that moment, did you just hear murder? And I didn't. We're like, she just said that was before he was murdered. That was her words.
And for now, the question remains, where is Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers?
Yep. So just okay. So no, yeah, I'd like to hear the recording if it exists. Well, I mean, you get to that point, don't you? You get to that point where you're like, from everything we've seen and heard that have come from Katie and Chris, like, I don't understand where their support comes from. Again, I mean, the lies, the inconsistencies, oh, I can't tell you that because law enforcement told me not to. The timeline, the evidence that was found at the landfill per LE, which only could have come from their garbage can. What else? I mean, it's absolutely insane. The treatment from Sebastian, or the treatment to Sebastian from at the hands of Chris and Katie, is absolutely insane. And those words have come out of Chris's mouth himself. That's not people making it up. You know, Katie sounded perfectly fine, like a normal, regular person on that leaked phone call with the PI. But she goes on and she has to force this sad, I can't look up from the floor, you know, I'm heartbroken type of thing every time she goes on for an interview. And it's absolutely insane. And you have Christopher, who reacts and immediately gets angry and starts cussing and gets mad every time somebody says something that that steps outside of what Chris told you can say. You know, Chris has written this script. He's written this narrative, in my opinion. Again, all of this is alleged and in my opinion only. Do your own research. Think for yourself. But yeah, you have the flashlight video. You have all of these things pointing to shady behavior at the hands of Chris and Katie Proudfoot. I mean, you have from the very beginning, you have the PIs that went against their own client, Seth, who were trying to get in the good graces, her words, of Katie and Chris Proudfoot. You have the other PI that was actually was partners with the PI that was hired to work for the Proudfoots. I mean, it's absolutely insane. It's crazy. These women twist reality. I can't. Yeah, I see. Yeah. Listen, I don't either. They're all these characters are shady. You know, these internet characters too. These content create. I don't, you know, that's why I go by what the research I have done, how I perceive what I find, how I perceive the information that I'm taking in. And a lot of it has come from Chris and Katie themselves. So, I mean, I don't know, but clearly there is manipulation and lies coming from, both Chris and Katie. Because I'm not going to lie to you, when I heard that recording at first, I was like, dang, I'm like, Chris is getting on Katie for just trying to speak up in the background. But, no. After going through everything, she's just as manipulative as he is. So that's all I'm saying. That's it. Chris, let's make it straight. Chris always bullies and puts Katie down. And if she says anything wrong, he's got to make her feel and look bad. And again, I will go back to that leaked phone call where Chris, it seems like Chris, when it's convenient for him, when he wants to act like the man with all the answers, he puts himself in that situation. He puts himself there to answer these questions, even though he wasn't there on the 25th. But when somebody insinuates him being there, like she just said, well, y'all went too. And he was like, oh, no. Y'all didn't do shit. I wasn't there. You need to be looking at Katie, not me. Like Chris, when it's pointed at him, he removes himself from that situation. When it's convenient for him, or he wants to act like the guy with all the answers, he puts himself, you know what I'm saying? He puts himself in that position to answer all these questions when he wasn't even there. It's like when the PI asked about the timeline, well, can you give me a timeline? Or do you know what time that was? And he was like, I can give you a roundabout time. Well, why? You weren't there. I'm not talking to you. Well, for sure. When I found out, because like I said, I had no prior information coming into this case. When I found out that just recently, Chris and Katie were done with Sebastian, they wanted him to go into a boys' home. They wanted him to go into a live-in facility. And then he comes up missing. I was like, what? But of course, that's just where that's just the first thing my mind goes to, because I am a parent. That's the first thing you think, right? When you hear, well, they didn't want him. They were sick of it. It was too much for them to handle. So they wanted him to go live somewhere else, even to a questionable facility where kids had died previously. They wanted to send Sebastian to one of these live-in facilities, one of these places for permanent residence. They wanted him to go live with Seth. They wanted him out of their home, and then he just up and vanishes, just up and disappears. And people aren't supposed to question them. People aren't supposed to side-eye that. People aren't supposed to go, well, wait a minute. I mean, hello? And then, there's been so many freaking things. An extreme end of the cluster B personality disorders would take glee in thinking they fooled Ellie. Missing after Seth investigated their choice and found out it was so bad. He said absolutely not. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. This whole thing. Yes, they did. They did try to throw him under the bus with that too. But I'm going to tell you right now that no loving, caring mother is going to let someone that they claimed abused their son so badly. No caring mother is going to go, I want you to have full custody. I'll take him on weekends. That just does not happen. Ellie has to be on to them, in my opinion. If they aren't, they have been paid to be quiet. But I don't see an entire precinct being quiet. Yeah. It's crazy. I really hope he is found. I mean, it's been a long time. I think these billboards are good because they get his name out there. They get his face out there, and that helps in any way. Just again, I feel like, now I know none of us can say what we would do in that particular situation, but I know myself, and I feel if I was in that situation, listen, you can take digs at me all day long. You can point the finger at me all day long. You can put whatever you want on them billboards as long as my son's face and name stay out there. You can threaten me till the cows come home as long as my son is found, right? Like that's what parents would care about. But Chris and Katie are all about their image, the image that they are trying to protect, the name that they are trying to protect, and it's bullshit. Straight up bullshit. All right, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this live. Thank you guys so much for being here. Please do me a favor. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. And please share this video. Come back. Leave comments down in the comment section. It helps us stay in the algorithm. I love you guys. Let me hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. I love you guys. Stay strong. Stay healthy. Stay safe. Keep asking those hard questions. Keep spreading that light. And I will see you all next time.